Alright, hello everyone. I just want to talk about the IDs real quick. After doing a little bit of testing, I've come to the conclusion that the 2-3 stars on this banner are extremely good to go and get, especially if you are able to uptype for them. If you're not able to, then they're not that great. Right, so let's start off with Kurokomo Gregor first. So Kurokomo Gregor doesn't solve any of the bleeds problem. Bleeding as an archetype really suffers with count. If you don't have enough count, then you're not able to maintain your potency and you're not able to do a crap ton of damage to the boss. Reminds me of the stages of Rupture. Beforehand, Rupture did not have WE Sung or Dimension Shredder, and so they were not able to maintain the count too well. And then after those IDs and those egos finally started coming out, and we started to finally see a full Rupture team come and how it's supposed to look like, and then finally it becomes complete in this season. So it was because of all of that that we were able to finally get Rupture as an actually god status and able to like full clear Refraction Railway in 30 something turns. But this ID isn't it. He's really got nothing else going for him. It's pretty much a standard 2-star ID. Like look at his numbers: 5, 10, plus 2 if you meet the condition, that will make you 12. So that's slightly above average. Then we got 5, 10, 15, 15 plus 2, slightly above average, 17. And then you inflict what? 2 bleed potency, 1 offense level down. If the target has 7 plus bleed, you inflict attack power down. And then for this one, it's clash power plus 1, coin power plus 1, 4, 8, 12, 16, 16 plus 1, 17, 17. And then after that, you just inflict offense level downs and plus coin drops. If we are still going to be a very offense-oriented Limbus Company, then we definitely don't need this character here. The passive is not even interesting. The passive is inflict 1 bleed potency. It's not even count. If it was count, he would actually be very important. The support here is when one ally with the slowest speed hits an enemy with 7 plus speed, inflict 1 offense level down next turn. So until I see more support for offense level down or more support for bleed, this character I just kind of going to put in the corner for a little bit. I'm just gonna wait until they actually release something to actually synergize with the bleed gang a bit better. Right, so on to the next one. Faust is crazy good. Faust in my Mirror Dungeon test basically was always third highest DPS. She never really out DPS people like BL Meursault or BL Yisang, but she was able to do a crazy amount of damage by herself because of Red Plum Blossom. Red Plum Blossom is very strong. It gives you additional crit chance per stack on the enemy. So if you have 10 of these Red Plum Blossoms on the enemy, you get 100% of the 100% crit chance. And when you're struck by crit hit, you also gain bleed equal to the half of the value. So if you have applied 10, then you divide by 2, you get 5. So every time you hit the guy, you apply 5 bleed, then 4 bleed at 9, then 4 bleed at 8, then 3 bleed at 7, and so on and so forth, until you have no more Red Plum Blossoms. So you actually apply quite a lot of potency if you can apply your 10 Red Plum Blossoms. So it's really very good passive. In addition to that, it also buffs critical damage by the value times 3%. So you can go up to 30% extra crit damage whenever you crit on the target. Very good shit. Besides that, she also has coin power whenever she has 5 plus poise. This is only available at uptype 4. At uptype 3, she does not get this line. So it's complete dog water if you cannot get that. Yep. Besides that, let's see. So we add coin power here. It's going to be 3, 6, 9, 9 plus 3, 12. 12 slightly above average skill here. Triple coin means that it's going to do quite a bit of damage. Skill 2, coin power plus 1, 7, 14, 14, 18. 18 overall, gain 2 poise count, 30% on crit hit, inflict 1 bind next turn, and inflict 2 Red Plum Blossoms on a crit. So do take note that Red Plum Blossoms will disappear whenever it's hit and not whenever it's critically hit. Skill 3 is special in that the skill does not consume Red Plum Blossom only if it crits. If it does not crit, it will still consume Red Plum Blossom. But on this skill here, you get coin power plus 1 for every 7 up to a maximum of 3. 7, 14, 21. 21 is the poise number that you want to hit in order to get maximum power here. That's going to be 9, 18, 18 plus 5, 23. 23, and you get additional damage based on Red Plum Blossom. And if you win a clash with this thing, you will convert your poise count into actual poise, allowing you to convert all of the poise counts that you're gonna get. You get quite a lot. You get 2 here, 2 here, and skill 1 also get 2 here. So you'll be mostly stacking poise count on yourself. Skill 3 will be one of the main ways you convert that poise count into poise for yourself, and then you will do your crits. And you'll get your Rip Plum Blossom application of 5, fat number, holy shit. And then after that we get at 10 Rip Plum Blossoms, you inflict 1 slash fragility, and so on and so forth, twice. Yep, so with her skill tree, she can apply a full stack of 10 and let your entire team benefit by just hitting these things and getting additional crit chance, additional crit damage, more bleed potency every time they do this. So it's a ton of extra damage, a ton of bleed, and in addition to that, she's also scaling off of her own poise and stuff, and she also benefits from her own bleed, and she's a very good applier of the Rip Plum Blossom debuff. The defense heal, nothing much to talk about. It's just for every 4 poise on yourself, you gain 1 additional final power here, so you can get a really thick shield. Passive, this one's the major one. Very, very important that you always keep your 4 pride. On crit, inflict 1 Red Plum Blossom. This shit here is crazy. It's like W Yisang being able to reapply his rupture as long as it's within a certain number of coins. This shit here just makes it so that whenever she crits, she will always apply 1 more Red Plum Blossom to make it net 0 loss. So when she hits it and she crits, she is able to replace the Red Plum that she just consumed. And if the target has 10, then access becomes defense level down instead. This one's very rare. Like it's just maybe like 1 or 2 defense level downs. Most of the time, your teammates are going to eat all of the Red Plum Blossoms really fast. So you most likely will never ever have a situation where this happens unless you start at 3 speed. If you're at 3 speed, you apply, then none of your teammates go after you. You go next turn you start at 8 speed maybe, and then you are able to get 10. That's the really one of the few situations where you're able to get up to 10 plus, basically. But yeah, this is a very powerful passive. Lets her replace her Red Plum Blossoms every time she crits. And then when you get an on crit effect here, you basically get a +1. Because when you crit here, you are replacing and you are also adding 1 more. Skill 2, you are replacing and then you add 2 more. Skill 3, you don't even consume it. So you just straight up add 5, straight up add 5. Just super, super good shit here. Really, really powerful, really strong and good support for the entire team. The support passive is decent enough. It targets the first deployed character, so there's no RNG to it. And then you can inflict 1 defense level down every time they crit with a slash type skill. Not too bad, honestly. There are a few characters that can probably benefit from this. 3 defense level down is basically 1 fragility. Yeah, so very, very solid character overall. Then we go on to Meursault. Meursault, I already explained his kit and how it works, but the summary is that he has 1 buff for when all of his allies die. When all of his allies die, he will start to give himself poise potency and count. And if a lot of his allies die, he'll gain 2 of this instead. And he will also apply this passive to himself. This passive makes it so that he gets more coin power, he gets more damage on crits, he gets more damage on skill 3, and he gets more damage on crits on skill 3 when you hit specific poise potency numbers. So yeah, it's a really powerful passive, and by default, when you have triple pride resonance, this is a pride resonance team, you are able to give your allies a bunch of potency and poise count whenever you gain it, and you can apply Swordplay of the Homeland to all other Blade Lineage allies. So you can give all of your Blade Lineage allies, other by the way, so not yourself, you do not get it unless all of your friends are dead. Yep, so that is how this buff is designed. So this buff is really, really good. It gives all of your allies a ton of coin power, a ton of damage, and it actually helps to make people who roll really shittily, like Blade Lineage Otis, Blade Lineage Sinclair, in terms of clashing, to become actually decent clashers. Like they will actually roll like a 2-star, for example. Yep. And then after that, if you have 6 or more Blade Lineage allies participating, you will get 2 poise potency and 2 poise count instead of 1. So that is the motivation to use 6 or more Blade Lineage allies whenever you go into a fight. Support passive is just 1 ally with the most poise, deals more damage on crit. It's actually a pretty good passive, but Meursault is just so powerful that I probably will just run him every time. Yep. Right, so that was his passive. Skill 1 will give you this. This is Rending, Sword of the Homeland Rending, and this buffs all other skill 1s. So it will give it to your Blade Lineage allies only, and it's going to be in ascending order of speeds, slowest to fastest up to 2 times max. And this buff here gives their skill 1s additional final power it is specifically skill 1. So if you use skill 1 and you get the absolute resonance of Pride, then you are able to give your Blade Lineage allies additional power onto their skill 1 and nothing else. If there are 6 or more, then you will apply 2 final power instead of 1, which is pretty sizable. Yep. Besides that, there's also gain +2 poise count, gain 1 poise, gain 1 poise, and also gains coin power at a certain number of poise. This is not even including Regret Meursault, which will add even more coin power to this skill here, making it actually a very formidable clashing tool. Right, then this will trigger 3 times, and this 3 times here will trigger this. So you will trigger, because this line here is poise potency or count, it means that every time he gains either of them, he will give both of them to 2 other Blade Lineage allies. So you will just give out 3 poise potency and 3 poise count to 2 allies, or if you have 6, you will give 6 and 6 instead. Yep. So it's actually a very, very powerful skill 1, very, very workhorse. It gives you skill 1 additional power, it gives you a bunch of poise to give to your allies, and with Regret as well as this coin power +1, this thing will roll quite well. If we do the math, it's going to be +3 in total and -1 base power. +3 is 7, 14, 14 +3 is going to be 17 on the skill 1. Very, very good. That is basically a 2-star ID's skill 2 as a skill 1, which is very, very useful because you will use this skill a lot. Right. Next one is simply Penetrating. Penetrating is going to be for skill 2s instead of skill 1s. It functions the exact same as the first Sword of the Homeland. So it's literally the exact same, and you will just use this to give final power to the allies skill 2. So whenever he does skill 2, you just follow along with skill 2. Then if we assume we have Regret, Meursault, Ego, as well as coin power +1 here, it's going to be a +3 in total, -1 base power. So it's 8 per coin. 8, 16, 16, 24, 24 +2, 26 in total. That is basically Leap from W Ryosho. Very, very powerful ability. In addition, you also gain 3 poise. On a clash ring, gain 1 slash power up, and then on hit, gain 3 poise. So that will trigger your passive twice, so you will get 3 poise here, get 3 poise here, and you will give 2 instances of the passive to 2 other allies, as well as get additional crit damage here on the 3rd coin. Really, really good shit. Very, very solid move. Phenomenal move, actually. It's basically Leap, as long as you have Regret Meursault. And then now we go to the big one, skill 3, 20 -8. So they kind of follow the Ruina logic of making Yield My Flesh actually very good at clashing in a lot of situations. So by default, it's gonna roll a 12 to clash most things, and a lot of things, right, can sometimes win you. Yep. But when I was trying it, I kept winning with Meursault. And when you win, it feels really bad because you don't really get Claim Your Bones, and claiming your bones is the big reward for this skill here. So with this skill rolling really pretty decently at 12, you actually want to try to find specifically hard characters to clash against. Characters who have a really high roll, abnormalities with notably super strong moves that you will probably lose against, so that you can output a crap ton of damage by converting this Yield My Flesh into Claim Their Bones. Very, very powerful skill. Gain 3 aggro, I guess, is to just to draw more damage to you after you use Yield My Flesh. This part here is, I guess, a bit of a punishment to you. So once you have eaten the hits and you can't be staggered, and then you hit him back, and then you are staggered, then the aggro will pull them to you or something like that. I don't really know what's up with this aggro stuff here, but I never found it particularly annoying to deal with. This aggro here is just whatever, really. Clash Ring, gain 5 points. I got this a ton. I kept winning my clashes, which is really shitty. I did find that Regret Meursault does lower the base power of this by 1, and does not affect the coin power at all. So that is really good, because that means that this move here, if you roll hits, will become 11 instead of 12, and 11 is pretty much a 2-star ID skill 1. So you will lose to moves that are stronger than an ID skill 1. So it's actually really good to have Regret Meursault. And this move here, you ideally want to try to find someone who maybe hits you with like 1 coin with a damage type that you are resistant to, so that you are able to reduce the damage you take and output the crazy move called to Claim Their Bones. Yep. In addition to that, you get a bunch of scaling here. You get more crit damage for every poise potency on yourself, you get more damage on the crit, and you deal more damage based on missing HP. Just solid stuff all around, just all the damage boosters possible. So this Meursault doesn't mind getting hit. This Meursault wants to have a lot of poise when he uses this move, and he wants to ideally crit using this move. Kind of like Yield My... Claim Their Bones from Sinclair, Blade Lineage Sinclair. They have practically the same move. I don't understand why they have to claim your bones right now, but it's kind of weird. Anyway, next one, let's talk about Overthrow. It's actually really good. Gain 1 slash power up next turn. Very, very good. It means that you can buff any of your skills here for additional +1 slash power. Very nice. You also deal the extra damage based on your missing HP. You also get 2 poise here, and that will trigger your passive. Very, very good stuff. Claim your bones. Alright, so let's say you successfully lost your clash against someone. For every 7 poise on yourself, attack weight +1 up to a maximum of 2. Attack weight is ridiculous, is broken, is super, super strong. And furthermore, look at these coins. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. 20 in an AoE GG. It's super disgusting. And while you're using this skill, this unit cannot be staggered from taking damage. You also deal additional critical hit. More damage on the crit for every poise potency on yourself. More crit damage, deal additional damage based on missing HP, the exact same lines as basically this move over here. But they add this: if the skill targets only a single enemy, you will deal 100% more damage in focus encounters a single part. So if you were to target, let's say the hit, and the attack weight is so big that you're not able to AoE, well, you get an additional 100% more damage, and that is just spicy. It's just super, super good to get this extra damage on top of this 5 paralyzed next turn. If you somehow don't kill with this move here, then this part here will make the enemy unable to clash you at all. It's actually crazy. It's 5 paralyzed. They straight up cannot clash you. It's insane. Literally, okay, I yielded my flesh. I've claimed your bones. I've hit a bunch of you in an AoE. Whoever is alive, if you are somehow not staggered after I hit you with my skill tree, well, you're paralyzed for 5. So we get to beat the shit out of you one-sidedly. Yep. So yeah, this is a super, super strong ID. He is the core of Blade Lineage. He makes Blade Lineage characters that are complete ass last time because they're Season 1 units and they have not been buffed to the power level of Season 3 onwards. Well, this character here will make them actually kind of 2-star IDs in Season 3. Yep, so really, really powerful character. Definitely a must pull for everyone except for the new player. Why? Uptide 4 is required for this ID. You will not get coin power without the Uptide 4. In addition, you also have a bunch of egos on this ID that makes him very, very strong, but you need to have them and uptide to a certain level. Regret Meursault, it was from Walpurgis Night. I don't expect a new player to actually have that. Regret Meursault needed to uptide 2 in order to get the additional coin power. And then you also want like Pursuance in order to get additional healing, because this character, the Blade Lineage gang, generate quite a bit of Sloth, and you're able to get Pride, Sloth, and Envy and Gloom pretty decently in Blade Lineage gang. I think Gloom is very, very on the low side. It depends on certain comps, but yeah, you will be able to fund Pursuance pretty damn easily, I would say. Yep. This character, very, very, very strong, but you need resources to do it. So, new players, once again, after testing, I really think that you cannot afford to pull this character. You just will find better value in getting an Uptide 3 Ninclair, Uptide 3 Rabbit Heathcliff, Uptide 3 Dawn, Uptide 3 Ting Tang, Honglu, for example. All of these are just useful and good for clashing already at Uptide 3. Like, these are very, very good options, and definitely you should not go for Meursault. Even though you will feel a little bit of FOMO, right? That one can't be helped. Yes, you're a new player. You can't really be helped. But of course, if you really, really want to, feel free to go and pull them. But I just want to show you what happens if you don't have the coin power. The coin power, let's remove that, right? There's no coin power, no final power boost because you're at Uptide 3. Then what happens is that you get +2, 4, 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. You will basically always lose with a 9. Skill 2 is going to be 6, 12, 12 plus 4, 16. 16 is pretty much a 2-star ID. So yeah, you are losing a lot of value without the Uptide 4. It's very, very expensive. Like, look at this. 4, 8, 8 plus 3, 11. 5, 10, 15, 18. Okay, this one is special. It's 18, so that's really good. Skill 3 is also pretty special in that you don't really need to... I don't think the Uptide 4 affects this too much. I think it adds more lines down here, but it doesn't really matter. You can still get the Claim Their Bones effect here. But I think the Claim Their Bones will not have any AoE at all or something like that. I can't really remember this specifically because I uptied him like 4 or 5 hours ago, so I can't remember. But yeah, not uptying them to 4 is just really, really bad. They're basically 2-star IDs. You might as well go for something with more value. So I would say Honglu banner actually is significantly more value for a new player. But of course, you don't have to follow me. You can just go and pull the banner if you want and go ahead. Yep. Alright, so let's get that out of the way and now talk about team comps. So, starting off with my first test. I ran it down with full blade lineage, and I found it relatively disappointing because of Otis and Sinclair. When I ran it down with them, the damage output of Otis was rock bottom. Otis has no utility and is a 2-star DPS type character. 2-star DPS type characters just cannot compare to 3-star DPSs, and she just completely collapses even though she has a lot of extra coins. I know she's uptie 3, but uptie for giving her a little bit of extra coin power doesn't make it any better because she is not doing a lot of damage. The damage is the most important part when you use this character here. I imagine when you uptie for her, she will clash a lot better. Her evasion also becomes extremely good. So she can become an evasion tank. So it's definitely viable. It's just the damage output was complete ass. It was all the way at rock bottom. In addition to that, we also have Blade Lineage Sinclair, who was able to do a respectable amount of damage. I did see a bunch of hundreds and 200s from him, but at the same time, from Faust and Isang and Meursault, I saw 200s, 300s, 400s, but that was like when it was a bit bugged, so they were doing a crazy amount of damage. But even then, right, Claim Their Bones for Sinclair is still not enough to justify bringing him. His clashing power on skill 2 and 1 is so bad that I actually have to spam Branch of Knowledge to try and clash it. Otherwise, I have to just eat the hits and then use Pursuance or Fluid Sac Faust to heal myself up. So I think he still suffers from the problem of needing specifically Meursault to make him actually a okay clasher. And that's just not great when other IDs are already okay clashers and they have a lot more damage to output. Yeah. Besides that, to be fair, in the Blade Lineage gang, if you run the full Blade Lineage, he is the only source of gluttony in the entire Blade Lineage. Like, look at that. That's gonna be what? Base Yoshu, base Ishmael, base Rudy, and then BL Sinclair. There's no one else in Blade Lineage to give you gluttony. So if you needed resources, the full Blade Lineage also heavily restricts your egos. You're not able to generate, like for example, Gloom. See, only Faust generates Gloom. You're not able to generate Lust. I think only Otis generates Lust on skill 2. It's really low on most things, except for like Sloth, on Wrath, on Pride, and on Envy, because you're able to get quite a few sources of that. But yeah, you will find yourself scarce if you run full Blade Lineage. So as of now, I actually don't like these two characters in my team. I highly recommend going for the mix, and this is what I came up with when I was just chilling and doing some theory crafting. Essentially, right, what I'm trying to do here is I want to run a thematic team of Bleeders as well as Pride Resonance. So we have plenty of options for Pride Resonance. We have like what, Queequeg, we have Twin Hook, we have even Shootis can do it. We also can throw in Sank Otis. Sank Otis also very good. Sanclair also very good. Can even throw in like Sank Dawn, and all of those have Pride skills. Those Pride skills will help with the resonance, and Ahab will also help to trigger the assist attack with that Pride resonance. So this character here is the crux of this team alongside Blade Lineage Meursault, I would say. Blade Lineage Meursault will not give her any poise, but she can give him poise using WoW Ego or using skill 3 or using passive. Blade Lineage Meursault, the reason why he's good in this team comp is that his passive, without the 6 Blade Lineage gang, is going to always give 2 other Blade Lineage allies 1 poise potency and 1 poise count. And what that means that is if I remove Dawn and throw her in the bench, Dawn is very useful because she is a support. She gives the character of the least poise 2 more poise potency when gaining poise potency with own skill or coin effects up to 2 times maximum. And the resonance here, when you actually use her, is that she can give poise potency to all allies as long as she gains it using her own coins and stuff. Yep. So what I plan is that I'm going to use her as a support, and I'll use Meursault to funnel the poise into these 2 characters here, because this character here scales super well with coin power based on poise count. Really, really well. Coin power is just super good in this game. Next, we also have her. Well, I already explained it. If she hits her critical numbers, then she will be able to keep applying Red Plum Blossom, allowing you to get even more crits. And her passive also makes it so that you don't need a crazy amount of poise on your characters, because she herself applies this debuff that lets all characters get free crit chance on the enemies. So once she applies the debuff and Meursault starts to feed her, these two characters will start to scale. And the support passive from Dawn also feeds them, so they start to scale. In addition, Dawn's passive does not have a Blade Lineage requirement, meaning that anyone can get the poise and poise count. So even Twin Hook, even Sank, even Ahab or Pequod can go and get this additional poise. So I think that Meursault, Faust, and Yisang I basically cherry-picked the best DPSs from Blade Lineage. And then after that, you have 3 more slots to throw in whatever you want. Ahab, definitely one of those slots. So you will have 2 slots to do whatever you want. You can do Sang Otis, Sang Dawn. Sorry, Sang Sinclair. You can do Twin Hook with Sang Otis, or you can do Twin Hook with Sang Dawn. There's so many different options. You can even go W Ryoshu if you wanted to, because W Ryoshu does have leap, and she's a pretty self-sufficient lady by herself. She's able to generate a lot of charge and do her dither for a big ass nuke, and that nuke is also envy, right? So there's a lot of different options that you can do here. I just want to specifically point out that the Sang team is actually really good. Because the Sang team, first of all, we all know Sinclair is just crazy good, right? Coin power and shit whenever you're faster. But he also gives you Glut, and he also gives you Lust. And being able to give those 2 elements compared to the Blade Lineage team just makes this team like so much better. Sang Otis has the exact same elements as him. So you actually have enough access to Gloom, so you can do Fluid Set, you can do any other Ego that uses Gloom. I can't remember which one. I think WoW Ego Ishmael might use Gloom. I can't remember that one. And then of course you also can get Lust. And Lust is definitely used for Fluid Strike Faust. And I can't remember what else, but yeah. Essentially, I think the mixed team is just better. You are able to get a lot more coverage of Ego resources. You can go ahead and tinker with the teams yourself. And there are lots of different options that you can throw in just to get different flavors of the same team. So it's actually a really powerful core of Ahab, Meursault, and Faust, who are able to greatly benefit. I mean, Faust, you can even drop Faust if you want. You can actually just get other poise characters and go pure poise instead. But if you're going Ahab, you might as well go for a little bit of bleed as well, right? Because Ahab scales off of bleed with the skill tree, gets a bit more coin power, so might as well. But yeah, essentially, I think these 3 characters here make a very powerful team, and you need to uptie for all of them. If you don't uptie for all of them, they're not great. They're really not great. So new players, I'm sorry, but you are not able to join the party that soon. You have to play like a 2-star ID if you were to go and pull these characters right now. Yeah, but essentially, I don't think Pure is the way. These 2 just don't do enough. Ahab is definitely the way. Pride Resonance with Ahab in the party is definitely the way. Especially, you should try to keep your Blade Lineage to 2 others. Why? Because Meursault will feed 2 other Blade Lineage characters. So even if you wanted to like drop Yisang for Sinclair just for flavor, feel free to. You can just do that, and then he will feed poise count to Sinclair, he will feed poise count to Faust, and then those 2 will just get a lot of poise and poise count from this one mentor over here. So it's really good to have an engine here to just always give your characters a bunch of poise potency and poise count. The only thing to remember is that you should always try to get Absolute Resonance for your passive here, and this passive only affects Blade Lineage. And then the passive here, it just needs regular resonance. So if you just need the coin power stuff with the buffs as well as the poise stuff, or you need the no die move here, then you will need to get 3 resonance no matter what. You can use like what, Faust base ego, representation emitter. You can use Ishmael WoW ego, right? There's a lot of different options that you can use. I mentioned Shredder also. You can always pull it out of your ass. Use an ego to just get the pride element, just to get the resonance going. Yep, this team comp is super fun. When you go into Mirror Dungeon and you actually run this, oh, the damage numbers crazy. Really fun character. Really fun overall team comp. Yep. Okay, so that's going to be it for this video. I don't think it's like super thorough. I mean, in the end, my testing was done with level 35 because I ran out of resources. But essentially, I think these 3 characters here are just super good synergy together. It's because Yisang has this passive, man. This coin power passive. Oh, so damn good. So damn good. It's just free coin power on his passive as long as you can give him count. And then now with Ishmael WoW as well as Ahab Ishmael released, oh, we are cooking. They cooked. Alright, so I'm gonna cut it here. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave your comments or whatever themes or whatever problems you've had, and we'll be able to go back and take a look at this. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye.